Hello everybody, we're here today with the lovely Claudio. Hello Claudio.
Hello, Sister Karen. How you doing?
Yeah, I've told a couple of people I'm having hangout with you. They can't wait for the video of you talking, Claudio. That's good, isn't it?
Us talking.
Well, you really. But today you wanted me to put up this video which is Oh Christ My Tree. So do you want to expand on that one a little bit?
Absolutely. So this video is about our own personal Christmas tree, right? Santos Bonacci does a great job of explaining that, where Santa Claustrum starts coming down the crown chakra or the head. And that's what Christmas is about. But it's really about the 558-year cycle where Eris, pure love, comes down the crown chakra. That's why we had the coronavirus, because it's a corona chakra cleanse, as we predicted 9 months before they announced it.
Yeah.
So this is literally coming down our crown, and we all around the world are having all kinds of experiences, but those experiences are to be met with gratitude because it is cleansing us. It's a beautiful cleanse. But when it doesn't feel good, you don't realize. So the Christmas tree is all about that crown being lit up. And in the video, it starts talking about the root of the Christmas tree, which came from the shaman. And the shaman were the one that used the Amanita muscaria mushroom. That Amanita muscaria mushroom is red with white dots. And we used to have red and white bulbs, right? Remember those?
Right.
Remember those red bulbs with white dots on them, Karen?
Yeah.
We used to decorate the Christmas trees with those because we were mimicking what the shaman would do when they go out into the forest. They'd find those mushrooms growing underneath the pine tree, and the pine tree has what? The pineal gland, the cone. And you'll see an image later on that at the Vatican they have that great big pine cone with the two peacocks on either side, which represent Mary Magdalene. But anyway, those shaman would take those Amanita muscaria and hang them upside down, stem up, bulb down, which mimics the Christmas tree that we're used to seeing. They would dry those Amanita muscaria. They would sift them to get the fines out, and those fines they take and make a host out of. You know the host that you receive when you go to church?
Right. Oh, right.
Well, the priests used to be the shaman, and they were giving whoever wanted the experience to be able to see. In other words, it lights up your crown chakra, and you can see the future. You can see what's coming your way, so you can make a decision on to change your path. If you see something that's not beautiful, then you know there's something you need to. And we'll talk about that tool later. What you do to make sure you change that path. So they're able to get visions. So the shaman, which would be the priest today, would hand out the host, would be the people that want to find out what they need to change and what. And everybody says, "I'd like to know what my life path is." Well, your life path is always different depending on your choices of today.
Yeah,
so
I
they
get
used to
that.
take that host in a gathering, and they listen to music, which is called Mass, M-A-S. So the Christ oil within you raises up to the crown chakra, like Santos Bonacci teaches, and that magic mushroom, the Amanita muscaria, would make that happen for you. So what this video is about is how do you don't have to take that mushroom to get the same experience, because every 558 years it happens naturally.
If that's the case, then they must know what's going to happen, really.
So, I'm sorry, what's that?
Well, they, as in this institution that we live in, they must know what's going to happen then. Because if we're free, if this is about freeing ourselves and being true to ourselves and love and everything, then we're going to win.
Love always wins, and no one's exempt. No one can wear a tinfoil hat or anything to stop this loving oil, this love, this raising of the Christ oil. It happens from the inside out. And if our waters are muddy, like Dr. Emoto shows in his experiments, that there's memories in the water, right? So there's an alignment at the beginning of the video.
I mean, if we do get into that love thing, I said about that video that I'm going to send you, that this guy's saying that they want everything to make you unhappy, etc., etc., because they don't want you to be in love with yourself or in love with anyone else. That is the highest frequency.
Right. And there's no choice now. There is no they. It's us. We reflect what we have done. So now everything is being shown to us, and we have to pay attention to those signs.
Also, you're just talking about votes on here. 330 in favour and 275 against. So what's that? That looks like England.
Right. That they're trying to pass a law which is beyond me. But that's part of what's happening in the sky. They passed that law at the same time that Ceres, the harvester, the one that makes you leave the visible, is aligned Pluto, which is your highest masculine self that is always guiding you.
Do you know something they're not talking about on that? Very quickly, Claudia, because I know I've asked you to talk. But basically, I've done one, and it was Bracknell. They say that there was 80,000 people living there on the television, but the internet says 120,000. And when they didn't even get 30% of the vote, the people who won. They're doing all this to us. To me, it's... I'm going to stop it there on the Christmas tree with the things upside down for a moment. The Amanita mushrooms. Basically, they're not talking about the fact that we don't want them. We already don't want them. It's a vote of no confidence. That's what happened. Nobody's voting.
Yeah, that whole thing is going to go away. The whole corporate structure, because they're all corporations, they're not countries. That's a whole other discussion. But yeah, so they took a vote on whether people can have assisted leaving the visible. I don't like that other S word that
what
they
does
use.
that mean?
Leaving the visible, you go to a doctor and you push a button and you leave the visible. You get harvested. That's Ceres the harvest and Pluto. So this alignment in the sky of Ceres and Pluto is making people talk about leaving the visible, what we call dying. But there's no such thing as dying. We springboard off of the ether called love, and we come out another womb. We're infinite.
Right.
Get over it. We're infinite.
Right.
So that's what that law was about. The UK, they're going to pass a law. I mean, nobody can help you leave the visible. You leave on your own accord. When people leave the visible, Ceres is aligned in their chart. And because Ceres is aligning Pluto, which is peaking on December the 8th, many people will have the thoughts of leaving the visible. Well, guess what? Today there is a tsunami warning in California.
Oh, golly.
At that exact time, Ceres Pluto was on the 0 degree Aries, rising on the house system. Right? So in other words, it was rising in the east exactly at the time of the earthquake. So everything is in the sky, the stars. So this peaks on December the 8th. So people are going to start thinking about leaving the visible, but only you choose when you go. Your conscious mind won't realize that you've chosen because maybe you're not paying attention to the signs, but every chart that we do where people leave the visible, Ceres the harvester is at play. It's absolutely beautiful when you watch it. So you get to know that when you leave, it's only you that decides. And you come back. You're projecting yourself into the next womb. And this is what the Amanita muscaria would do for the people. It would give them enlightenment, and they would see that they're infinite. But again, we don't have to take that because everything is going to become clear to us because we're being induced by love.
Well, I don't like them making those decisions on our behalf.
But they can't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not. They can't. Only you decide. That's just noise. You don't even pay attention to it.
Well, I think they should be talking about the economies and other things, which they're not. So, yeah.
Yeah. So each and every one of them are having their crown rung.
Right.
So if they're not going into love, helping people, stop delivering karma to people because it's only going to come back on them, then they will be given signs. And if they don't listen, they leave. If they don't listen, they leave the visible. That's the way it works.
Right, so it's
And
nothing to do with them, we do it ourselves. This video
right,
is the Christmas tree upside down with those mushrooms next.
right. So that's what they used to hang. Like I said, they used to hang them on there
It's coming. So
because that whole Christmas tree is your kundalini, is your spine, is the energy centers, is the chakras, and the caduceus, which is the glyph of Hygeia in the sky, which they call an asteroid. No, that's the medical caduceus symbol. Because when she does an alignment in your chart, you feel head to toe, you start feeling each energy center start vibrating and doing things. I've had them twice now. Other people, while I'm making this video, 2 people reached out and saying they're getting that cleanse. And I go look at their chart, and lo and behold, there's Hygeia in their chart, lighting them up like a Christmas tree. So the Christmas tree is about you, your energy centers, and them being lit up. And that happens when Eris, Isis, Madonna, Mictacawatl, whatever you want to call her, comes back into Aries, our head, our crown. So that's the story of Christ, Ma, tree. So it's the Christ oil with mother, love, down your chimney, the Christmas tree. And that's the story of Santa Claus coming down the chimney, like Santos teaches very, very well. He taught that.
What do you think
The only thing
about when we were sort of, I mean, I haven't actually put a Christmas tree up probably since about 2016, because at that point it was a bit like, well, Santa is red, so he's satanic, and the trees are the same thing. It's all a ritual, and I thought, well, I'm not buying a Christmas tree again.
Right, so but the ritual was supposed to help us remember that you are the tree. And if you want to see how everything works in this universe, how beautifully orchestrated we are with all beings, every tree, everything, you would take that Amanita muscaria.
Does that mean I've got to put the decorations on? I've got to put the decorations on me. I'm only joking there, by the way.
You are the decorations. You are the light. Right. So when you take the Amanita muscaria, you will see bright lights. I've never taken that, but I see bright lights all on my own without it. It's like a serpent that comes out from my forehead, and it's just sitting there waving in front of me like these lights are all together, whether my eyes open or eyes closed. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful. So
I do like you have such lovely optimism. You do, Claudio.
Well, when you see the truth
but then
in these
you
charts,
must be quite happy in your life to be able to say what you do, because Claudio likes to share the love, and everything's on a love level. And you've even told me off quite a bit. No, sister, no.
When you immerse yourself in it, law of attraction brings more to you. It's infinite. It's acceleration. There's force, which is the magnetism. It's the force away from the point in the middle, the love. Whereas acceleration or love brings acceleration, which is like gravity. It's really fast, really powerful, and it will 100% attract more because it comes from the inside. It doesn't come from outside. Everything comes from within. And again, your Christmas tree and your whole being is replicated out in nature. The Amanita muscaria grows underneath the pine tree. The pine cone is there in the shape of the pineal gland, and how it opens up in a beautiful Fibonacci spiral. It's holographic the way it moves. It just teaches us who we really are and who we're not. So we truly are spirits having this human experience, but infinitely, and only you get to choose when you leave and what's going to be waiting for you when you return. It's beautiful. So every moment of the day, every image, everything you share, every word, the waters remember and will remind you when you get back. That's what lighting up the Christmas tree is all about. You realizing that it's all you. You are the goddess of your world. And everything will always be here for you exactly the way you left it. But not the material stuff. Oh, everything you've done with your images.
So why don't we ever
Just
remember those last lives, really, Claudio? Why isn't that?
Piscean age is the least amount of love age. Although we've had 4 Phoenix risings and we do get illuminated, which you have a Hypatia, Al-Sufi, right? These are all different 558-year intervals. And then the latest one was Leonardo da Vinci. He was 13 years old 558 years ago. So he had his Christmas tree lit up because he understood this very well. So we're all remembering now because our Christmas tree is being lit up. It's a natural process. So when you have that revelation and you immerse yourself in it, it's now a catch-22 in a beautiful way. It just gets better and better and better and better. If you can't get there, that means that you have somewhere muddy waters in your body not filled with love. Somebody that you're not seeing eye to eye with, you need to ask for forgiveness because they're telling you what you used to be like. There's your mirror. So when we think we don't remember our past lives, everybody outside of you is going to show you what you've been like. So every time somebody does anything that's not beautiful, you have to say, please forgive me. You're just showing me you're my guide. So that's that 5-step process that we keep talking about.
Yes, I did quite a lot of that myself, but I wasn't seeing a change. But I've told you it's all changed now.
Right, because you're starting to believe in yourself and you're believing in love. But you have to believe the forgiveness process. That's the Ho'oponopono, whatever you call that. But people don't understand you got to do the first one, I'm sorry. That means you got to ask those people who have done not beautiful things to you for forgiveness because you did it to them in a previous life. It's a Hatfields and McCoys.
So why do you have to pay for it? Why do you have to pay for it in this life, if you know what I mean?
Because if we do something to somebody that's not beautiful and we leave the visible when we come back, it's get even time. It's karma.
So we're always trying to, what's the word? It's our karma we've got to deal with here.
Right. Yes. And there's also good karma. If every image action that you do is loving, you get that back when you show up. So you're getting a beautiful taste of that right now, sister. You're doing your work. You're being more loving. The loving man shows up in your life. You gotta ask every other man in your life for forgiveness in your heart. You don't have to do it physically. In your heart, please forgive me for not being a loving man I should have always been. I thank you for your guidance. I forgive you so that your waters may be pure and nothing happens to you after because we've been in a boxing match. I love you. And step number 5 is really important. You have to repaint how it should have been.
But how does that work,
something
right?
Didn't go right? You have to reimagine it in a loving way, and that's the way it's happened.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but when things happen to me, not say recently, but when I look back and I look at things, I always think, they're taking their life out on me. It's always my fault, and they're taking their life out on me all the time. So how does that work when people are actually taking their life out on you, and it's not you?
They're guiding you.
Really?
You.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
Claudio.
What it used to be like.
It's just as well we're live. Oh. You know, it's just as well we're recording this, because I haven't really got much to say, because I know you're right, but you've got somewhere, and a lot of people won't be where you are exactly on the old ladder of understanding.
That's the pebble in the pond, right? If you put yourself in the middle of a pond up to your waist, and everything is at peace. The water is like a mirror. The birds, the bees, the dragonflies, everything is just sitting stationary on a plant somewhere. The beautiful sun, blue sky is shining, and everybody's at peace. You pick up a baseball-sized rock and you throw it in the middle of the pond. Everything scurries. Everything is no longer at peace. You're still at peace because the water is still absolutely still where you're at, but eventually one of the waves comes to find you, and it starts pushing you. And then another wave comes, and it pushes you, and the waves keep coming, pushing you, pushing you, pushing you. Who made the wave?
I thought a little bit, though, was because when I worked myself out, it was a long time ago. Maybe it's not as young as you, but I was in my late 20s when I unturned every pebble that I could. I wasn't afraid of myself anymore. I realised through a situation, my grandfather, when he touched me, I hadn't realised for a while I'd hated myself. But you hate yourself as an adult when that actually happened to me as a child. But as you grow up, that's what happens. You're this adult looking at it anyway. I realised that I thought, well, I'm over here and they're all over there now because I feel differently about things, about how I feel, about what I want or whatever it is, and they're all scrambling around over there still. I felt a bit like that actually, Claudio. That doesn't mean I'm gooder and greater than anyone else, but I'd work myself out. I do think that when you're talking about this stuff, people have to realise you've got to work out who you are as a person, or none of what Claudio's saying is going to happen.
Right. When you have the revelation that everything is because of you and we no longer play victim, then things heal. That's the only way. And then you do the 5-step process, the 5-step that I just talked to you about. If you do that with everybody in your life, whether you got along with them or not, it still works because you're doing it out of love and you want every image to be one of love. So I repaint everything that's happened to me, that I'm hugging, playing guitar with people, high-fiving, every one of those images which are trying to come into my brain right now, but they can't anymore because I've wrapped them in love, so they can't show me anymore. And
someone else explained it. It's a bit like...
Somehow they sneak in. I do the same thing. I do the forgiveness process and wrap it in love and imagine us hugging and saying, boy, what a ride that was.
Yeah, well, it was this guy put this video out and he said, well, there'll be days when things aren't going right. Then there'll be days where things aren't going right, but some go right. Then there's some days that are okay and there are other days that are brilliant. And you want to head to the good days. You want to get rid of the... I like the way they explain that bit of how it's like levels. And then suddenly you don't even realise that you're enjoying your life. It's like that, isn't it?
Exactly. Right, so...
But you also...
That forgiveness process...
Since I met you... Well, since we've met in talking, and it's been quite a few years now, hasn't it, Claudio? You've... Maybe you're happily in love and married. You love your grandchildren. And when we were all locked up, you went and spent time with him. So that probably helped as well, didn't it? You know, with your journey. You do readings, you do oils, you do quite a lot of things to help other people. But that's because you're sound as a man. You're not worried about your feelings because you've worked it all out. You know where you want to go. But a lot of people haven't worked all that out yet.
Right, but that came with work, though. That came with work.
Yeah, I understand that.
I got a lot of guidance throughout my life that wasn't beautiful. But when I realized that it was guidance, me being guided by them and what I used to be like.
What I mean is, I'm not questioning you. I love you, Claudio. I like what you say. But, you know, say someone's come across this video, what do you tell them if they think, what's he going on about?
But you do the pebble in the pond. Who made the wave?
Yeah.
The one that threw the rock. So when you throw an image, when you do an act that's not loving, the waters remember, don't they? You know, Dr. Emoto has shown you that memories get stored in the waters. That's the Akashic record. That's Mercury described, the ibis on the Egyptian walls. The waters always remember. And when you take that Amanita muscaria, it could scare you because if your past has not been resolved yet from previous lives, it's going to show you. So people have trips and not beautiful experiences because they haven't healed yet. They haven't realized that their waters are still holding those non-loving actions that we did in a past life.
Can I ask you something else? This is not, again, disagreeing with you. Months ago, when Mickey died, I just stupidly wrote to a couple of mediums on the internet. They write to you all the time, and all they really want is money. But anyway, she wrote to me in these letters, these great big long letters come, and she said, this time that you're going through, it's not your karma. Unfortunately, you've just been given all this karma that's not yours, but it's coming to an end. That's what she said. So what do you make of that? Do you think that's real, or I don't
No,
know?
I
I
don't
just
agree
thought
with it.
you don't agree with
I
it.
don't agree with it.
You make your own
No,
karma.
every wave that you feel is yours, nobody else's.
But you know what? What happens in my last life, if I was a grumpy old man, I had loads of children, I didn't really look after them, I wasn't very emotional, and then this time they send me back as this really emotional woman with 4 kids. You know, I had to learn to be a mum. I was not Mother Earth. You know, some people maybe are. I had to learn to be a mum.
Right. Whatever is irking you, and if you're not being loving in whatever aspect, when you come back, you will experience that. So those that don't give, the billionaires that are out there that don't give, is going to be like that poor person in Africa that doesn't have anything to eat. That's the old billionaires.
So who's remembering that for you then? Because like I said, you don't really remember your last life if you come back. So who are you doing that for? Your soul?
No, but everybody, all the signs around you is your last life. It's the waters and the memory. The memory's in the water, sorry. Right. Everybody around you is your guide telling you, go this way, way to go. I'm wrapping my arms around you. You're on the right path. When you go this way and it doesn't feel good, well, that's guidance too. It's not saying don't go that way. It's saying you used to be this way.
So basically, when we go forward, you say to the next womb, it's quantum leap, isn't it?
Exactly. So you are projecting, with every image, word, action that you do, you're projecting yourself into the next womb. Beam me up, Scotty, except it's beam me in.
So nobody really stays on the other side then? They all come back?
Exactly.
Right.
We're infinite. That gives you strength.
Well, energy, aren't we? Energy is infinite, isn't it? We're energy, yeah.
Yes, that's the ether.
So they say, yeah.
Ether and love are 100% synonymous. They're the same. They're analogous. We're infinite. Get over it.
Oh, Claudio, I love you.
Isn't that a feel good? Like I said, if it doesn't feel good to you because you're sitting here in all these waves that you've left behind, well, the good news is you can fix it instantly. I mean, instantly. But you have to have the revelation that it's yours. If you think it's somebody else's and you play victim mode, then you're staying in jail. You're staying in karmic bondage. On the Dendera Zodiac in Egypt, you'll see.
But did you hear what I said earlier on? I didn't, because of this experience as a kid. So I dealt with it better as the kid than I did the adult. And then I think, well, because I shut myself off, I probably didn't experience emotions I should have done as I was growing up then, because you shut down.
No, we didn't.
Right?
We weren't quite on the Phoenix Rising yet that we're on now, which is giving us.
Well, I didn't realise for many years that really I hated myself because of what had happened. So what happens if people don't even realise that they hate themselves?
The reason why people aren't in love with themselves, I like to use the love word. The reason why people don't feel love with themselves is because of their past actions, and their muddy waters won't let them feel the love until they do the forgiveness process. And when they do the forgiveness process, I'm watching people change overnight. And then I'm also watching people who are in denial. There's no way I could have ever done that to anyone. And in that denial, they just keep staying in that same state.
So basically, Claudio, you've got to be responsible for yourself then, haven't you?
Across every life, because you're infinite.
Or the paw print or the handprint you make in this life, make it good in this life for the next one.
Exactly. So every moment, remember, every one of your actions, words, images that you share will be waiting for you when you return. You're
obviously a light worker, aren't you?
We all are. We all have our own
Actually, I
Christmas tree.
don't know if everybody is, but I'm saying that you are.
No, everybody is. No, everybody is. They just can't use their Christmas tree yet because their waters are still needing work, like I was. I needed a lot of work. I got a lot of guidance.
There's those little balls with the little white things on them. They're up with the mushroom.
Right. So I'm going through the book about the Amanita muscaria.
Yeah,
how
it's
they use that to
onto
create the host.
sacramental and spiritual use.
Yep. Again, you could achieve this knowledge by taking the Amanita muscaria, but right now everybody can achieve this because we're aware. Not everybody was aware, and you had to take this to become aware. Well, now the Phoenix rising, this beautiful love induction into our crown, is now inducing us all to achieve that state. So as the more of us start achieving this state without taking anything to help us, the more we can just spread the love. And as soon as, again, and the only thing we can do is, I tell people, I'm not a coach, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a leader. All I'm doing is pointing to where the pure waters are and how to free yourself.
It is a good place to be. We don't know how long we're going to live, so your stance is a very good stance then, isn't it, Claudia? Because you enjoy and love every day.
Right, but you're infinite, so you're going to always live. There's no such thing as death.
Yeah, but the humans, some of the humans won't realise that.
Right, and the reason why some people, when they leave the visible, doesn't feel good is because you're trying to squeeze a camel through the eye of a needle. In other words, your muddy waters can't go through the eye of the needle, so guess what happens? You feel really, really, really not loved.
So basically, these videos, hopefully, just need to keep going for the next generations and generations, because, you know, our parents, they didn't ask anything. They don't know anything. They're so different to our generation.
It's the Piscean age. It's just a stage of our cycle. Right now, all this stuff is on the Egyptian walls, which is written in the stars, and the only language that is infinite and never changes is the stars. And we keep leaving the messages on how to read the stars, and the latest one is on the Egyptian walls, and there is nothing that matches the Egyptian walls. Egypt is not a place. Egypt is where we leave the message in the bottle so that when we return, we can understand who we really are because we love us so much. And our technology today is primitive compared to what we had back then.
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that one.
Free energy is going to come back. All the poles in the neighborhood, they're all going to come down. All the building structures are going to come down. We're going to go back to living in harmony and peace with Mother Nature.
I really hope so, Claudio, because basically everybody is living in an abandoned place. I think they haven't got anything to be proud about. All the buildings, schools, hospitals, houses, estates, castles, there's masses of it, all military things, all abandoned. Hundreds of years ago, they make it abandon it, make it abandon it, make it abandon it. It would be nice to have good architecture and good things now. And to savour the old things.
We should build them with Mother Nature in mind, because Mother Nature will always have to take them down. So if the energy will increase to take down the buildings. That's like the Twin Towers. That was 100% an energy taking that building down. I can see it in the charts.
I agree with you on that one.
Right. So everything we build, man builds, will come down. The more effort we put into building those structures, the more effort Mother Nature puts into it to take them down. So there was no love in those buildings. So Mother Nature will take them down. So every structure is going to come down again. It always does, like a Tartaria. It had to come down.
I got a video I put out a while ago, a few months ago, but basically this person's saying that they've added hundreds of years to everything, and religion only started in the 1700s. What do you think of that?
I know that they were playing games as far back as 1347, where the Black Plague was.
Well, how did
because I went back.
Oh gosh, I've forgotten its name now. The church in Paris, the one that burnt down. How did that get built in the 10th century, 11th century? It's amazing. It was absolutely gorgeous till it got burnt down.
Right.
Notre Dame.
Right. Yeah, and I did that chart. It was a sign from Mother Mary, Isis, Eris, whatever you want to call her. Every one of those energies, if it's a big fire like that, it'll be there. Even the little ones are. They're always in the person's
But the thing
chart.
is, I felt they destroyed it because when you actually looked at that structure with these eaves that came out, it was almost sci-fi. It was amazing. How could they build that in the 11th century with big picks and axes, or not even that, flints? How could they build all that? I mean, you can't just slap these things up. It still was here until they burnt it down. I've been in it. It was gorgeous.
Yep.
Do you know what, Claudia? Very quickly, that day, right, Ellie ran off. And do you know what? Suddenly, when you're looking in the church, there's loads of people. And then I was running around like a headless chicken. And then suddenly, she just appeared in front of me. Oh, thank God. She was only about 8 or something. 6, 7, 8. She was small. It was a lovely church.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, whatever it was. But it's almost sci-fi, that thing. I mean, how could they build that like 1,000 years ago?
What year are you saying? About 1000 AD?
Well, that's what history tells you. The history of this place.
So in 907 AD, there was a phoenix rising. So we start lighting up our Christmas tree. We can see, so we leave all the beautiful messages behind in the artwork, like Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, you got to have the whole print to see that he's showing you the phoenix rising. Leonardo da Vinci, when you understand the truth, you can start now deciphering all of their works. So I've deciphered a lot of his works. It's really simple.
So basically, the Romans stole that then, didn't they? You know, whatever this... It's like an Egyptian Roman thing behind us.
Right, the Romans were just as good as the rest of them, the Greeks, every one of them. They were showing you the truth because the Catholics, which are really Christians, which are really pagans, are the ones that built the Vatican with the truth. There's so many astrological, beautiful, significant memories that we left there. I keep telling one of my cousin's son became president of one of the local community colleges here. So I told him, I said, what are we taking over next, the University of Windsor or the Vatican? Which one are we taking over next so we can teach people the right physics, the right metaphysics? Because it's going to happen again because we're on a phoenix rising. So we will go and remember, re-expose the truth and all the stuff we've left behind, including at the Vatican. The Vatican has a whole section, a whole area of all dedicated to the Egyptian walls because we put it there. Why? Because we knew we were going to come to this end of this Piscean age, and when we wake, which is now, we're going to go and start remembering who we are.
Yes.
It's all there. People don't understand what's at the pyramids. They're trying to think they're energy machines and all that stuff. No, those pyramids were there, built to show you the Orion's belt, so it letting you know that it's a clock tied to the stars. And then the Great Sphinx is the 349 AD Phoenix Rising marker, so we can know where we're at on the calendar. With that information, I now get to see where the calendar is. The Vikram Samvat Nirvana is a perfect calendar that shows the Jesus dying on the cross in 547 BC. In 31 AD, Jesus dies on the cross, and so did 547 because it's an actual event that happens in the
Claudio,
stars.
can I say one thing? I follow Angel. You know Angel from before. I don't know if you had hangouts with him, but He's been,
Yeah,
I've had many hangouts with him. He believes it's a machine, and it was
You're the
breaking
machine, but
down.
it's you.
It was breaking down
It's you.
water and oxygen, and creating helium and other gases, probably for things in the
Absolutely, but it's
sky.
you. But all that process is playing with the ether so that you get the images that you make in your head. You're the machine. And you're the only machine that can fix your path into the next womb. It's you. You're the machine. It's your world. But the thing is that all of our worlds are tied together and must form unity. And we're past the worst part of the 2,000-year cycle, and the 26,000-year cycle is the age of Pisces. 2 lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. But now we're realizing that we are unified and we are connected with those beautiful invisible love strings, the ether. We're all connected. And we can help each other by sending love and doing the forgiveness process.
Yes, I do agree with you on that one, that we have to raise our vibrations.
Santos taught that well, didn't he?
He did. In fact, I came across someone else had put a bit of our hangout with him. It said 2016. Wow. Claudio, this video is finished. We've been going for 41 minutes, but can we finish off? But just find another. I was going to stop for a second. Right, so we're back on with Claudio's pick of video called Tethered.
Right, so I just said we're all connected through that invisible string. You're going to see in this video the book called Invisible String by Patrice Karst. If there's any one book that you could ever buy, a young boy or girl, it's this book, because it talks about how we're always connected. And when a kid starts thinking, but Mom, you're in the other room and there's a thunderstorm. Well, no, we're connected by this invisible string, which is love. And so that's the ether.
Oh, it
so
says,
you want to teach kids about the ether and love, this is the book. It's brilliant.
What is your
It's
definition of invisible string?
Love,
everyone has someone in their
ether.
lives that is attached to them across space and time. Can this string be broken? No.
Exactly.
Its spirit is love. Dog just barked. I felt in my heart a friend whose father left the vehicle. Love is eternal. Speak to him as if he were there. Sit quietly and listen to your thoughts. My mum, dad, husband, I'm still connected. Always love them. My invisible string is tethered to my grandparents and other ancestors. The golden cord to our hearts and love and energy can stretch out and help someone, magnets coming together. Invisible attraction, relationship with mother to the child to be challenging. Tethers us to source. Why is there good connection versus not good connection? Send them love. My heart and soul are attached to love, energy that I give to the whoever I love. Oh gosh, it's going out of thingy bob. Hang on, I've got to go back, Claudio, just a little bit. It's gone out of... Right. To my heart and soul are attached to love, energy that I give to whoever I love. The love is vibrations of attachments which are binding to our mind and body. The strings are stronger with emotions attached to the mix, like our children that we can struggle with. Blessings. I don't know what love is. I was adopted, got stuck into materialism. Last few years, I'm the loving parent. Love strings to my cat and my sisters. Family. All over the place with this one. Is there an invisible string? Heck yeah. Silver cord. It's tied to your soul. The road is silver. The silver there acts. Well, I've got to stop it. The thread of, what's that? Sophitia. What's that?
Sophia?
Oh, is that it? Sophia. Sorry, it's going out of thingy bob. I've got to go back a tiny bit because it's gone out of thing. I can't read it. Right. Is the thread to the Mother Mary, milk thistle in Maria thistle. We have threads to others on the other side of the Milky Way. I think it's someone in my neighbourhood. And it's still going on. How many of these I've got to do?
So these are the comments that everybody that's in the gathering sharing their wisdom. Because the question for the day was, what is your definition of invisible stream?
Okay, I'll let it play. Carry on.
So we all start off a question of the day, and then I do a presentation on it and what I've been finding, gathering keys which the biggest strength that I've gotten is on the standing on the shoulders of greats as Santos Bonacci and Ken Wheeler. If you remember, we started off with them. And between those two, we can find the reality of this existence we're in because they're absolutely brilliant. So we talk about all these beautiful things. And like, again, every week we start off with a question of the day and everybody gives their interpretation of it, of what the question is. So that's what you're seeing go by is everybody's interpretation.
Right. Well, this one's talking about the 27th of November. It says a prostitute.
Oh, that's the alignment that would happen in the sky exactly when we had that meeting. That's Mary Magdalene. Very synchronistically, somebody texted me and said, how do you respond to somebody saying that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute? Well, there's not a real Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene represents the earthen mother. When somebody's not getting along with women, Juno in their chart will be very strong. Well, anyway, Juno represents every earthen mother, and every earthen mother pretty much has sex with a man, so that would make them, that's why they say she's a prostitute, but it's not a prostitute per se. So Mary Magdalene is just meaning that Mary is sleeping with Jesus. Mary sleeping with the Son. There's a mother that's sleeping with a man that makes a baby.
Right, carry on.
So this portion of the video is showing the synchronicities between somebody bringing that up and actually what was happening in the sky on that day. So Juno is Nephthys, is Mary Magdalene, is that luminary in the sky, to which both of those Marys have presented themselves to me as the winged woman in the sky, so I know which ones are the Marys. And then Juno and Eris, you can go look, and if you go to 31 AD on September 21st, on the fall equinox, you'll see Jesus dying on the cross with both Marys. So it's just all these beautiful signs of your journey, every one of us, our journey on the wheel, 26,000-year cycle. You can skip
That's a big
rungs
cycle,
on the ladder,
though, isn't it?
love.
It's a big cycle when we only live 100 years, maybe, ago.
You can go longer. You can go longer. You can go longer. You can choose not to move wombs, because you're in a womb right now called the firmament. So you can choose not to move wombs and stay in this womb longer, as long as you know who you are, and you're cleansing your waters, and that you're going to help people all around you. So you decide when you leave the visible and pop into the next womb. It's no different than when you go to sleep at night, you go to the black, you don't see nothing, there's no such thing as time, you wake up 7-8 hours later like it was seconds. Same thing when you leave the visible, you end up in a womb somewhere exactly where you need to be based on what you left behind.
I had a book, Claudio. It said, if you're still alive, your mission on Earth isn't over. That was the title of the book.
Yeah, except that it's a repeat. It's constantly repeating. It's like if you don't do well with all your actions as images, words, then you repeat the grade. Just like in school, material world is the same as the spiritual world. Physics equals metaphysics. If you do really well, you'll skip grades. You climb the Jacob's ladder. So there's pitfalls and there's ladders, snakes and ladders. The snakes, which represents the vibration, is what will make you go down the pitfall and repeat. Climb the ladder, then you'll come out in a beautiful area of this earth and just be in absolute bliss. Because there's people on this earth right now that aren't feeling anything what we're feeling. They're in bliss because they've done good in their past lives. Whereas us, we're cleaning our waters. Forgive me for not being the loving man I should have always been.
Yes, or woman. loving woman.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Claudio. But I did say when we were just off the call, like, what you're saying is really good, but what happens if you don't realise that you don't like your life, you hate yourself? What happens then? You've just got to wake up.
Right, so you'll start getting, people will get signs. They're going to start seeing numbers. People are going to come up to them and start, because we're all brothers and sisters with love. Everybody has to stop. So when somebody is coming to them and delivering karma in a not good way, they have to stop, because the act of delivering that karma brings it onto them. That's the boxing match. That's the Hatfields and McCoys across lifetimes. So people will start becoming in their life to give them guidance in a beautiful way. Happens because everyone, no one's exempt. Everyone's going to feel love.
Yes, Claudia, I'm just trying to stop Floss from snoring under here. She's gone for a big snore. I don't want that on the video. She does it all the time. But you do readings for people, don't you?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, anybody can get in touch with you, can't they, to talk about more? You know, we're doing a video together, but obviously Claudio's name is there. That's the name of his channel, and it's I, you to me. But they can get in touch with you, can't they?
Anytime. It's always free.
Oh, Claudio.
It's always free. You can't sell this. You can't put a price tag on something that's beautiful that helps people. You can't. I can't do it. People have to earn a living. I get that. I'm not judging, please. I'm not. But if I need a sandwich, I'll ask for it. I don't need a sandwich right now.
Yes, I suppose it is. If the glass is broken, you have to mend it, or it's always broken.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, we do, you know, like, for me, I you know, at the time, obviously, everything has moved on now, but I never thought I was going to lose Mickey like that.
You didn't lose him.
I have from this life, though.
Right, but you can still talk to him. He hears you.
Well, he's always, I can hear him quite a lot in my brain. In my brain, he's doing all sorts of things. He's always, like, he would say biscuits. He wouldn't say biscuits. Biscuits. I hear him say things. Yeah, he was just a lovely man. He did, to me, he didn't deserve to die, but that's the way it was, and you can't change anything. That's the bit you've got to understand. You can't change it.
Right, so now you can help him with his return. Talk to him, teach him the 5-step forgiveness process, hold hands with him, do the 5-step forgiveness process, picture him doing it to you.
What happens if he's already reborn? What happens if he's already, what happens if he's already reborn then? You said you go...
He'll still feel it. He'll still feel it. It doesn't matter whether if they've left the visible or they're returned, they still feel it. You're helping them. We're infinite. We don't go anywhere. You help them. Anybody in your lifetime, especially the ones that, if they've left the visible and they didn't do something nice to you, you got to do the 5-step with them. You're fixing your waters and theirs, and that's the forgiveness process back and forth. So you and them both get love. You're clearing the waters, you're stepping on the snake. That's the image on churches of Mary stepping on the snake with the moon on her feet. We have to repaint those images in a beautiful, loving way. And we can help anyone, anywhere. It's your world. When you do this, your world changes because you want everybody to be loved in your world, no matter who they are.
Just as you're doing that, you've got this little girl climbing up a hill with a little heart on her, the bit that joins her to the rock. It's shaped as a heart, as you were talking then. And it had Eiffel Tower in the little book that you're showing. Yeah. And yes, even here with Jeremy I can't remember, didn't see the other one. They're holding there's a heart in front of them.
Yeah, that's the invisible string book, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. The string will always be there.
Yep.
Oh, that's lovely, Claudio.
Get this book for any child. I think it's only $10 or something. Or at least you can go online and go to archive.org and you can play it for free. You can go on YouTube. That's what this is. This is first grade parody, reading it out loud to you. So grab an iPad, computer, go sit with your grandkids and have them read this book.
Well, go over to Claudio's channel and watch this video with the volume up. Because we're talking over the top of it. Well, Claudio's talking over the top of it. Yes. And all the strings their friends have by invisible strings.
That's the ether that's love.
Yeah, you do most of the pictures, don't you, for the videos?
Yep. Well, with AI now it's easy, right?
I think that video... Oh, no, we haven't got to the end yet. We've been going for nearly an hour now. Do you want to... Now you've shown us that one as well. How do you end this then, Claudio?
What's that?
How do you end this talk?
I don't know. I think I've been...
We're tethered for good forever now.
We're infinite. Get over it. You are the one that creates it all. Play the mother of all mothers. It's your world. There's nobody outside of you that helps you. It's all you. Everybody's your guide. It's all about love and forgiveness. Do the 5-step. It's powerful. Watch people's lives change. If you can't do it in front of somebody, that's an issue. But if you can't do it in front of somebody, at least do it in your heart and know that it's because of you.
Maybe it's a bit like get some
confidence in yourself and the mirrors of yourself everywhere.
Yeah, because there's always, what is it? There's an action and a reaction, and you are responsible. Yes, Claudio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? When you see the power that it has, it's life-changing.
Yeah. But, you know what, I don't know. I didn't enjoy last year very much at all with my dad and Mickey. It's just such
Repaint it, sister. Repaint it and don't share the image anymore because it makes it live. Repaint it in the way it should have been and then own that. That's the ticket. You don't want it to live.
I'm feeling a bit better now, aren't I, Claudio? But you can't forget.
You are. Just know that it's all guidance. Picture you, your dad, everyone else hugging. Somewhere on the earth that you all want to be together at. You're all hugging. You're all going, boy, what a ride that was, that Piscean age. And then sit there, share good vibes, good music, good times. That's how you repaint it. Don't let those other old images in. Repaint them. That's the noise-canceling headphones. We have to change those images. It's your world. You got to decide what you allow in your world.
I think I've worked something out just now. In your world, if I mention things like that, you think I'm not over them. But in my world, if you can't talk about the past and certain things, you're not over it.
Right. And it'll stay with you and it'll keep coming back as a reminder that you have to. Somebody will always remind you. But see, some people remind you in a non-loving way, where we all have to start reminding each other in a loving way.
Well,
and that's how we change.
We've talked a lot about love, and I know that you've mentioned it, but you've got to start to love yourself.
Right, and everybody outside of you is a reflection of yourself. We're unified, we're unity. So you got to love everyone, no matter what guidance they gave you, because it's you. That's Plato's cave.
Yeah, now it says on the computer, nowhere to go but inward.
Right, the love is, exactly.
Yeah, it just got there with the tethered.
Synchronous.
We're still on the tethered. Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed this chat. I like having these chats
Me
with
too.
you. Even though we might have slightly different views on a few things, I like the fact that you come and talk on this channel with me.
And I enjoy it very much, sister.
Oh, Claudia, we've been friends for years. How long have we been friends now? When did we start?
8 to 10 years. 8 to 10 years.
Have we had these hangouts and chats?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do so like your optimism about it all. You've just got to start thinking differently.
Exactly.
Baby steps, though, because, you know, I have a book up there. I love this. It's, you know, it's how I got there. Do you want to hear it quickly? I'll have to stop the video.
Sure.
And tell me you won't disagree, but I'll just get the book. Right, where are we? Book.
Well, I'm not going to agree or disagree. I'm going to ask you what you think. Do you agree or disagree?
I've got to find it. Oh, here we are. Oh, I couldn't find it for a moment. Right. Well, it's a book I've had for a very, very long time. And what it is this day is actually what you're supposed to say on May the 20th. So there's a day for each day of the year. But I stopped here at this one. It's my favourite one. So it says, yes, here we go. Oh, it's not very bright. I've got to put another light on. It's not very bright. In here, right. Here we go. That's a bit better. So it says, for the price of the book, you're about to receive a master's degree in spirituality. What you're about to hear will carry you through any situation life brings your way. Once you have mastered the day's lesson, I want it brighter, that's it. You will have the everything you need to realise everything that you are. Your divinity, your nobility, your presence in life is a gift to humanity will be, and then, oh gosh, evident. People will want to be and want to know you. They all want to be just like you. The lesson may seem very simple, but to truly master it may take a lifetime. Take all the time you need. A master knows that rushing leads to nowhere. Ready for your lesson? Your key to freedom, joy and peace? Here it is. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
It says, know yourself, see yourself, accept yourself, and be yourself. No matter what you may be faced with in life, know yourself. No matter what someone may do to you or against you, see yourself. No matter how many times you fail to try, accept yourself. No matter whose company you are in, what they have the ability to give or take away from you, be yourself. And if you're, for any reason, you are tempted to believe that you cannot develop the mastery of these lessons, you might want to try this one. Trust yourself. Trust that you really can do it. Trust that yourself will provide you with all the nurturing you need. Trust that your life is a classroom that will continue to provide you with all the apprenticeship you need to master all the lessons. Trust that you cannot fail this course. Until today, you may have believed you had to come to a class or a course to discover the roads of spiritual mastery, but just for today, work with the roads you have. It is roads, isn't it? Yeah. Know yourself as a divine being. See yourself as connected to God. Accept yourself And if you can't do well on today's lesson, be yourself, a loving and compassionate being. That's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one of the...
If you noticed, when it's talking about everything around you, it kept saying, notice yourself. That's all that outside of you is yourself. He's agreeing 100, or he or she is agreeing 100% with what we've been saying about you in this hour.
The book is Until Today, but you've got one for every day, but that's my favourite one.
That one is beautiful, sister. And what they're saying is that everything outside of you is yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? I have another book up there. In another way. Not because it's just in relationships. It's called Two Hearts Are Better Than One.
Two hearts are always one.
Two hearts are better than one, because most people don't become one in a relationship.
No, I know that, but they're not separate. They're connected. They're never two. It's only one.
Yes, in your world.
No, in ether world, the visible strings are everywhere in every atom. Every atom, Ken Wheeler shows you, every atom has that black hole in the middle. That's the ether.
Do you know what? I have another book
connected.
up. I have another book up there. It's a different book. It's about your twin soul, this one. But in it, it's saying that sometimes when people are married and it's not your twin, and they get the other person goes, I'm not changing, and then you divorce them. In a way, you've caused another change now because they're not married anymore. Do you see what I mean? So even when you say no, you're going to get the changes whether you like it or not, usually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we're back to Isis, the loving mother, but I very much enjoyed today, Claudio, and I just wanted to say those things because a lot of people might think we're talking very deep. I mean, life is deep. Well, it's as easy as you want to make it, but life is deep. And
right, it is deep, but if you now think deep and inner, we're speaking from the inner love, the black hole that's in the atom. We're speaking from the ether. It's not really deep. It's inward. It's in the point in the middle. It's a beautiful place to go. And people say, well, what good is that going to do me? Well, just watch your world change when you do it.
Because you can't help anybody else until you've sorted yourself out.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I've very much enjoyed that.
Everybody else outside you is asking for help because it's you that needs to change.
But it is strange. You don't always, you saying we're all tethered, but your tethering must be much bigger, say, because I can feel your tethering, but I don't always feel everybody else's, but we're always tethered. But sometimes that's crazy, isn't it, when you do feel certain people. That's a good tethering, that one, isn't it?
Right, so that's right. So the tether's always there, but to feel it, you got to go through the muddy waters. So if our waters are muddy, we got to do that forgiveness process, and that clears it so we can feel that love, that goosebump that you can get there. So one thing that I always say to myself now is, I'm so loved. Even when people are guiding me that doesn't feel good, it's because I'm so loved. I'm so connected to the ether love that this love will do anything to make sure I wake and I understand that it's all me. I've created it all.
Yeah, I get that.
This is all guidance.
I think one of the most upsetting things to me is when my kids don't like me and there's been some argument or something past. But I always can feel when it's almost like they suddenly go, oh, okay, I'm over it now. I can feel it through the air.
Right, so but do the 5-step with them and never see them doing that to you.
That's the tether.
Mom, you're always so right, I love you.
That's the tether. Yeah, I always know when they don't like me and then when they stop disliking me.
Right, because it's a wave.
Yeah.
It's a wave that you've left behind in the pond. And so the wave only lasts for so long, but if it keeps coming back, it means we haven't done the work. When's the last time you asked your kids
Claudio,
for
it's only
forgiveness?
occasionally, but I just know things through the air.
Yes.
I have this is something completely different, by the way. I have a fairy deck. The paintings on, the paintings on it, some of the fairies are lovely and some of them are ugly. But basically, the first so many cards, it's all about, no, turn the television off, turn it all off. You need to be listening to the wind and the trees and the leaves. You need to be listening to other things, not the mechanical ones.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Claudio.
Thank you, sister. Always a pleasure.
We're nearly at the end of this one, and we've gone for 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that should be enough. We don't want to put people to sleep, right?
But it is a bit like a lesson, isn't it? It is a lesson. I know that you're doing it with love, but it's still a lesson, all this.
It's not my lesson. It's written everywhere.
No, because you've probably learnt your lesson. It's other people to learn their lessons. Some people may be just as wise as you, but for those that haven't, it's a lesson, isn't it?
It's just pointing to where the truth is, yep.
Yeah, well, I very much enjoyed that.